If you throw an egg straight up in the air with an initial velocity, initial speed of 20 feet per second, how long will it take to hit the ground if you release the egg at an initial height of 4 feet? Now, if you hit the ground, that means its final height is 4 feet. Zero. The ground is at 0. So, this is your formula. This formula will be given. This is the formula. It will always be this formula. It will even tell you what each piece means. So, S0 is initial height. So, for this formula, we have S, we have V0, we have S0, and we have T. T is time in seconds. So, S equals what? Final height. Well, if this egg is hitting the ground, the final height is on the ground, that means my S is 0 because it's hitting the ground. V0, what's my initial velocity? Well, it says it right there. 20. What's my S0? What's my initial height? Well, we threw it from 4 feet high. I plug all those values in. If I plug those values in to this equation right here, S is 0. S is 0 equals negative 16 t squared. V of 0 is 20, so that's plus 20 t. And S of 0 is 4, so that's plus 4. That right there, I plugged in, according to this formula, these 3 variables. There's my equation. It wants to know the amount of time it takes for this to happen. Can I solve for t to find how long it takes for plugging all these values in? It would take for this egg to hit the ground. Yes, you could actually find this out. How you solve it? Well, you have to solve this particular problem. And here's how you solve it. You either use quadratic formula or factoring. Now, before you start doing that, is there a GCF in these 3 numbers? Doesn't 4 go to all those? So watch this. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. When I divide by 4, what's 0 divided by 4? 0. Sweet. Now, could I divide each of these pieces by 4? So what's 16 divided by 4? Negative 4t squared. 20 divided by 4 is 5t. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. Let's see if this factors. How do you factor this one? What you're going to do to factor this, don't you go negative 4 times 1, and 5 on the bottom? Is this going to work to factor? Negative 4 times 1 is the top, 5 is the bottom. We're factoring it, and this does not factor. This will not factor as is, so we have to quadratic formula. My A is negative 4. My B is 5. My C is 1. So we have x equals the opposite of B. B is 5. Plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4A. A is negative 4. C is 1.
Do stuff like this in college?
Divided by 2A. A is negative 4. That's quadratic formula. So to solve this, you got a negative 5 plus or minus, that's 25. This look right here would be like 16. And that looks like negative 8. And from there, it looks like we have negative 5 plus or minus the square root of. When you add this, it looks like it's going to be 41. Now, you cannot figure that out. But if I use a calculator, I'm going to use my calculator real quick, and I get negative 5 plus the square root of 41. And if I divide that by negative 8, I get Can you have a negative time? No. But you also get 2 answers. One's going to be a negative, and then you do another one, because what you do is you add 1 you add square root of 43, 1 you subtract square root of 43. These are your two answers. Which of these two answers make more sense? The bottom one. Oh, by the way, should this be t? My problem was t. This should actually be a t here too. Sorry. These are t's. These are time. This doesn't make any sense. We don't have negative time. So here's our answer. On your benchmark, you can actually leave it like this. But this is actually the time. 1.5 seconds. It will be in the air about 1.5 seconds. Not very long.